Today's video is a shout out to all the brave artists. Hello lovely friends, thank you so much for joining me today. My name's Michelle. If we haven't met before, I'm an artist and a hand weaver, and today's video is an inspirational video for artists. I was inspired to make this video after a conversation with a non-artist who said how strange it was that artists who are usually more introverted, sensitive, strange, that putting ourselves out there in the form of exhibitions and things like that is the most stupid thing we could possibly do. And I had to think about that, and I thought, you know what? Artists are really, really brave because they're always putting themselves out of their comfort zone. And so today I'm going to give you a few reasons why you, as an artist, are very, very brave. Before we get started, I would love if you could subscribe to my channel for more creative inspiration and motivation, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. Number one, artists are mostly sensitive introverts. Now I know this is a wild generalization and you may not be like this, but I know for a fact that I'm definitely like this. And when you're making art, you put a lot of your personal self into your artwork. So the very fact that you're making something that expresses your sensitivities and your issues, especially issues growing up or issues in your early life, that is an incredibly brave thing to do, especially considering that's not our nature. We are sensitive introverts. We don't want to draw attention to ourselves. So the very act of making art, even making art as a child, is incredibly brave because it's not something that society usually encourages us to do. Number two, studying art is brave. Now, I do realise that not all artists have a formal qualification, but when I say studying art, I mean formal study, workshops, anything like that that you do to improve your skills in a certain area. Now, for me, as soon as I left high school, I went to art school for the first time, and I was completely disowned by my parents. They were very upset with me for choosing to go to art, which they thought was a waste of time. Or if you've seen some of my artwork, art is for losers. So the very act of choosing to do a waste of time study course is a very, very brave thing to do. Later on, I decided to do my diploma of woven tapestry, but by that time I was already in my late 30s, so I don't consider myself all that brave for doing it then. I'd already made that decision. I didn't have anyone around me judging me, but there are a lot of people who decide to study later on in life, and they do have judgment from other people. So if you're one of those people that has experienced judgment from studying art or from improving skills and going to workshops, you know what? You are super brave, because it does take a certain amount of grit to say, no, I'm going to do exactly what I want to do. And no, it's not a hobby, it's something that I'm very serious about. So kudos to you for being brave. Number three, putting yourself out there is brave. The very first time you show anyone a piece of artwork, the very first time you show it on social media for everyone to see, the very first time you tell someone that you are an artist or you're creating artwork, the very first time you are involved in a group exhibition, the very first time you enter and you get into an art prize, the very first time you have a solo exhibition. And guess what? It keeps on getting difficult ad infinitum, because I haven't ever got to that stage where I'm 100% comfortable with putting my work out there. There's still that little cringe that someone's going to judge you, that someone's going to say, well, that's rubbish. And I'm pretty sure that most of you have that same thing as well. So every single time you put yourself out there, that's an incredibly brave thing to do. Even having photos taken of yourself in front of your artwork, that is something I still really, really struggle with. And I see pictures of myself and I think, oh, it's so awkward. But you just have to be brave and do it. Putting myself out here on YouTube was the scariest thing I ever had to do. But now I can just chat to you, I'm pretty comfortable. And you just get used to not judging yourself, and you just think, well, you know what? It's just me. If someone judges me, that probably says more about them than it does about me. Number four, making art for art's sake. Now, there is this thing in the art world where some people only make art for a reason. So whether it be for an upcoming exhibition or they've got a deadline, a commission. But most artists actually just make art all the time. We are compulsive about making art. And so sometimes people get judgment on, well, why are you making it if there's no reason to make it? So if you're that person that just makes art for the sake of it, you are very, very brave. I mean, sure, we can make art that ends up going into exhibitions or ends up entering in art prizes, but that drive to make art for no reason, as some people say, is incredibly brave. And I don't know about you, but you feel like you have to keep justifying yourself. Why are you making that? Well, just because I want to, because I'm driven to. And all the artists I know have that internal drive. They cannot stop making art. If you said they will never have an exhibition again, they'd probably still make art. So if you're that person like I am, you are very, very brave. Now, the last one I'm going to talk about today is putting yourself out there is very brave. And similar of what I talked about in point 3, when you're an artist, you are consistently putting yourself out there in the world, which is not something that is normal and comfortable for us to do. So not only do you have to put yourself out there by putting your artwork out there, but you also have to put yourself out there by networking, by meeting other artists, by going to galleries and meeting gallerists and curators. So all of that is completely and utterly scary. I still find that kind of scary. I'm not naturally a social person, so putting myself in those situations I still find very confronting. And my view of doing that is that everyone else is feeling the same way. So if you can just relax and try and appear a bit more extroverted than you actually are, then usually it's a lot easier. So in summary, in case you've never thought of any of this before, I want you to pat yourself on the back, because if you've come to the end of this video, I'm assuming that you resonate with all of these points. And I want you to pat yourself on the back and tell yourself that you are super brave. You know, all the people that you see in the mainstream world, they're not doing this stuff. They're not putting themselves out there. You are special. You are doing something that no one else is doing. So I really want you to remember that when you're feeling a bit down or when you're feeling anxiety about going out and doing things, just keep that in mind. You are different. Artists are different. We are a different breed of person, and we push through those boundaries, and that's how you build up confidence, is by continuing to do that. So well done. Well done you are brave. And if you know someone who is struggling with all of this stuff, please forward them this video and tell them you are already brave, because I'm sure you've done at least one of those things that makes you brave. And once you've done one thing, it's pretty easy to just keep on going. Thank you so much for joining me with this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too rambly. Sometimes I am inspired by conversations I have with people, and then I wonder, is this relevant to anyone else? So if it's relevant to you, please leave me a comment down below and let me know. And if there's anything else you can think of to add to this conversation, please put it down below as well. So until the next video, bye brave artists!